Started back up this week. The lawmakers are considering a slate of anti-abortion measures, including one bill that would create a database of pregnant people in the state seeking an abortion, and another measure that would ban abortion after 30 days since a missed period. 30 days, that's sooner than many women know that they are pregnant, and it's definitely sooner than many people decide if they want to seek abortion care. Over in New Hampshire, the state house debated a bill that would allow any man who claims to be the father to sue a woman seeking an abortion and ultimately force her to keep the pregnancy even against her will. One state House Republican explained, quote, "It's actually about recognizing that men have the rights, fathers have some rights, but how do we go about making sure those rights are recognized?" End quote. Well, this bill suggests lawmakers want to do that by usurping a woman's control over her own body. It's nothing short of alarming that any of these bills are being considered anywhere in the democratic United States in which a constitution is guaranteed, an abortion is guaranteed by the Constitution. But if you want a better sense of the trend lines in this country when it comes to the reproductive rights, take a look at Florida. Just a few months ago, Florida lawmakers were cooking up a bill that would imitate the Texas vigilante law that effectively bans all abortion after 6 weeks. But since the Texas law has been kicked around from court to court, Florida dropped that model in favor of a different kind of anti-abortion bill, one that's more like Mississippi's law that bans abortion after 15 weeks and is currently before the U.S. Supreme Court. Florida Republicans are supportive of the new bill because they say that compared to the Texas law, which bans the procedure after 6 weeks of pregnancy, theirs is a whole 15 weeks, a time difference that they call generous. According to Florida House Republican Dana Trabulsi, 15 weeks is, quote, a long time, end quote, even if it's less than the 24-week time limit that Roe v. Wade guarantees for women to get an abortion. Florida Republicans say, hey, this bill's a compromise bill, even though it provides no exceptions for pregnancies resulting from rape, incest, or human trafficking. State Senator Kelly Stargell says, quote, we're not banning anything. We're not being mean. We're not being mean. Chill out, guys. It's generous, not mean. The bill passed a Florida Senate committee last week. A state House subcommittee advanced the bill earlier this week. The state House Health and Human Services Committee held its first hearing on the bill on Thursday. Now, they asked for public testimony. When it came time for public testimony, several Florida residents had a lot to say about this generous bill.
It is so exhausting trying to find new ways to beg you to hear my pleas to protect my right to choose.
There should be no room, no right for anyone, especially any politician, and more specifically, any male politician, to interfere in that very intimate moment and tell a woman what to do.
As a woman of color, a wife, and a mom of 3, this bill is taking away the access and choice that people in this state should respectfully have.
I drove 2.5 hours this morning from my college town in Gainesville to ask you why. Why do you feel the need to make decisions on women's bodies?
Outlawing and further restricting abortion by passing this bill would not bring wellness to the people of Florida.
15 weeks is an undue burden.
I was raped my freshman year of college. Afterwards, I felt like no matter what I did, I didn't have agency or control over my own body. And that's how I feel again today, sitting in this room.
It's really not your business why someone cares and wants to have an abortion. What should be your business is providing health care, housing, therapy, and child care for expecting parents. Please vote no on HB 5.
Even after all that testimony, the committee voted to advance the bill. Now it's going to go to the full House for consideration on Tuesday. Democrats say they will oppose it, but they are, as we have discussed several times on this show, in the minority. Joining us now is the Florida State Representative Anna Eskamani, a Democrat who opposes the bill that the House will vote on next week. Representative Eskamani, good to see you. Thank you for joining us again tonight.
Thanks for having me.
What can happen here? This is another situation in which Florida Republicans have a plan, and they've got the numbers. So what does your sustained fight look like?
Well, first of all, Ali, there's no such thing as a generous or reasonable abortion ban. This is complete gaslighting by my Republican colleagues who will do anything to ban abortion, even if it takes them step by step, bill by bill. This is a dangerous agenda that would force those seeking to access an abortion beyond 15 weeks in Florida to go to North Carolina as their closest option, assuming North Carolina doesn't ban abortion as well. And of course, as Democrats, the minority, our options are to fight like hell, to do what we can to not only delay the passage of this bill, but to, of course, amplify public attention. The reality is that Republicans know that banning abortion is not popular in Florida, and that's why they continuously try to avoid calling this what it is, a ban on abortion.
Well, so you mentioned this idea that some people may have to go to North Carolina. Let's spell out the reality of this. There were a lot of women who testified there who said, look, this is a hardship. This is difficult. But that's the goal, right? The goal is to make abortions inaccessible, particularly for people who do not have the luxury of traveling to states and extra gas and housing and waiting periods and tests that are not necessary. But that's actually the intent of this bill.
Absolutely. First of all, abortion access is already highly restricted in Florida, as we're seeing that trend in conservative states across America. And the reality is that abortion bans impact every type of person. But as you mentioned, those who have access to means will find a way to express bodily autonomy, have that agency, and decide the outcome of their pregnancy. It's going to be those of no wealth, those who are people of color, undocumented, folks with disabilities, minors, folks who live in foster care. These are going to be the populations of Floridians who will truly have no other alternative and are going to be either forced to travel out of state or forced to become parents, which they know they're not ready or they don't wish to pursue. And so we're locking people deeper into poverty. There's already so much research that helps us understand what happens when someone cannot make a personal decision about their pregnancy. The outcomes are dangerous. The outcomes are systematically brutal. And this really is a bill that tries to punish poor people for being poor.
You did tweet that your House Democrats have filed 17 amendments. Do those amendments do anything? Do those amendments, first of all, will any of them be considered? And if they were to take place, would they change this bill meaningfully?
Absolutely. And I worked at Planned Parenthood for 6 years before I ran for office. I was a Planned Parenthood patient before then. These issues are personal to me, not only as a woman and someone of reproductive age, but as someone who cares about the next generation of Floridians who deserve full bodily autonomy. The 17 amendments that we have filed range from removing the ban to adding more exceptions, doing whatever we can to not only amplify how dangerous this bill is, but to hopefully, of course, make it less harmful if it does actually become law. And we wish to set this up for litigation because we do know this is unconstitutional. We're going to do everything we can for the American people to know that.
Florida State Representative Anna Eskamani, thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it.